Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silent Podcast, where we're anything but silent. And this is the Big Brother recap. My name is Sariel.
I am your boy Ganjo. How you guys doing?
And I'm Cheyenne, also known as Cheyenne New.
Wow, and what a week it's been. It's been a bit of the Victoria show, which I'm sure everyone loves.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not a fan of the finale. I wanted it to keep going.
You wanted the Victoria show to keep going?
Yeah, I honestly, my two favorite people that I've been rooting for, like Rohan very secretly, have gone, and I'm like a little sad to keep watching without
I
them.
feel that.
Even
we gotta
though,
stick it out for Ty, though, right?
for sure. Even though it's not the finale I really wanted, it's the finale I kind of wanted because I was right about what Vic should have did. Like I think Vic should have made slightly different moves when she was in power, and I think that's the exact reason why she's out the door at this point.
Yeah. Do you think she would have been gone if Austin had stayed? If she had done her silent HOH different?
No. But the reason, no, and we can I guess dive more into it later. But it's all about threat management, and I think her threat management and knowing where she sat amongst the house was kind of skewed, and I think that was her detriment at the end of the game.
And she was just too messy. She just lied too much, couldn't keep stories straight, denied things that actually happened, and it's just like she lost all her trust. She burnt the bridges, and it sucks. I kind of wanted her to comp out, though. Comp her way to the end.
Yeah. And that's what I think we have to say about Victoria. Like, I know she's a little controversial, and there's some people that don't like her as much, but no matter what, you have to admit, she was great at comms. She gave us good live feeds. She acted her little booty off, and I don't think it's the last we're going to see Victoria, personally. I think if there's an all-star, she will be a shoo-in. And she'll be back.
Here.
Here. Like, let's do a little toast for Queen Vic.
Too spicy.
But no, okay, so if we start from the beginning of the week, because this week was so messy. So we ended that, eviction with Austin leaving on a 7-0 vote against Brayden. Can we talk about how Brayden has not gotten a vote cast against him yet? I don't believe. Like, he's been on the block twice, and the people he's been on the block with have both gone home unanimously.
Has he been on the block twice?
I believe so. At least twice. He was on the block against Austin, and then he was on the block in the double.
Oh, right. I forgot about the double already happening. My bad. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, so how do you feel about Beth backdooring Victoria? That was a whole lot of drama with the throuple this week.
I feel like it was Beth's best move because Victoria let the dragon loose, in the words of Cirie, and she kept, leaking information that Beth was her target. And when you start leaking information about certain people being your target, you actually have to go for them, or they are prone to go against you because they're going to be scared you're actually coming for them.
Yeah, I just, it's hard to even say it like this, but once again, she made the right move and gone about it the entire wrong way. Like the way they kept flip-flopping, the way she couldn't just freaking stand her ground, the way that, now that Ro's gone, obviously it doesn't matter as much, but she completely ruined that relationship by being like, would you use a veto and blah, blah, blah. And it's just she really should have stayed strong to show Tina and Tara that she's not the boys' toy. Whereas now they're more than ever Beth is them. And yeah, it was also surprising to find out that Beth and Tina has a final two. How many final twos does Tina have?
Too many. Too many.
So many.
I do not know. And what was interesting is on RHAP, I don't know if you guys saw that Taryn interviewed Victoria and Ro, and they kind of ranked for who they would want to win, who they would vote for. And Tina is at the bottom. Wow. I thought Tina had such a great chance of winning, but right now, based on the jury, Kiefer has the best chance of winning and is the biggest jury threat at the moment.
That's because they don't know about the Sunsetters, though. if they think that Tina's been on the outside since the oddballs, then yeah, they have like no idea what good of a player Tina is. Hopefully she would be able to explain her game in Final Two.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, but she would need to kind of do something.
I agree, because my thing with Tina is right now, Tina hasn't done much, and like I don't consider winning comps or getting specific, targets out, actually doing a lot. I actually consider using the people in the game to best your advantage, and I think she is too quick to just let people go. And like when she let Latoya go, I was looking at her kind of weird. Like, okay, she had to save Kiefer, that's fine. But it's like I don't want to say she's not letting Tara go down, as a sinking ship, which she actually needs to. But I just feel like Tina isn't doing as much as we will want her to. Her positioning is amazing, but she's not using this position to actually propel herself forward. To be honest, she's on the bottom of the Sunsetters, and she put herself there because she linked up with the Eyeballs, and literally that alliance is almost basically depleted at this point. Like it's like null and void at this point.
That was such a flashback to Big Brother Celebrity Season 2, when she was like, my milk is depleted.
What?
Keisha left the game because she wouldn't make breast milk for her child. And so she left. And it was just such a big meme that summer. I'm sorry, very random.
Mm-hmm. And so Celebrity Big Brother House, she was there for like a week maybe a week. I don't even know if she was there that long, but she had just had a newborn, maybe 2 months old, and she was pumping milk for her baby. And like, I think she like she said, she ran out of milk or something crazy. She basically had to leave the game because the baby didn't have no more milk or something like that. So it
was like too stressful of an environment.
It had to be
stopped. Oh my gosh.
I mean, when you say it accurately, it sounds bad, but the memes, it was like, my hope has depleted.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Celebrity Big Brother. I don't really watch it. I watched the one season with Lolo and.
Oh, that is season 2.
Oh,
the first one was better.
So yeah, the first one had like
Bob Keisha was on the first one, but but the second one was like Lolo and him. Yes.
Oh, I watched season 2.
Mm-hmm. So so basically Beth puts up originally Ro and Tara. And Beth was able to actually put 2 targets on the block that was not even going to be mad at her for putting her on the block. It did not seem like Tara or Ro were really that pressed that they were on the block because they knew Vic was going up in their place.
Yeah.
Which is good for Beth.
Yeah, but surprising because usually a backdoor is kind of scary because it's like, are you going to have like 2 people mad at you at the end of the week versus just one?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it did seem to work. And Ro, the veto king, look at him. Was it 3 in a row? Is he tied for first most veto wins ever in Big Brother history, or in a row? I think so. Very impressive.
Most definitely in a row. I'm impressed that he won these vetoes, but like I think I was talking about this earlier. He literally didn't use the only one that mattered. Like, I know, granted, he needed like the first one, I guess, to take him off when he was against Kyle or whatever. But in his last one, he was really he might have went home. But the one that was so important was the one when Austin and Brayden was on the block and he won. Please start using the veto for anybody about to play the game, not just on yourself. Like, save your allies. Like, don't just let them go home. And I think that was a big thing that actually put Ro in a horrible position because he basically said, when are y'all going home? I don't even care. It's like he didn't even attempt to save them. Like, I don't want to say Tara and Tina wasn't super linked up to Ro as well. I just feel like Austin and Brayden, I guess more so Austin, had more, upside to actually win a comp and protect him, but do what you do, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know if like saving face had anything to do with it with the throuple, because I think in Big Brother, I don't think it matters to save face if you're already at the bottom of their pecking order. Like not playing the veto, obviously, as we know now, it made no difference. No difference in his game. So
no difference. Like, and that's like a trend too. Like in like Big Brother, they just stopped using the veto on other people recently. Like I'm just not understanding it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think after like I don't know how long have you been in the house? Like maybe like 20 days. That's probably way wrong.
Like
But like
30 something.
but at some point it's hard to change the pecking order. So I feel like you might as well just acknowledge where you are and just if you already have a bad relationship with someone, who cares if it gets worse?
Period.
Who cares?
Yeah. So once Rohan's off the block and then Victoria starts campaigning, and like the way that it started because of production, like once again ruining the game, I'm just like, so we will never get an authentic backdoor? Or like what?
It's hard though. Like I get it. Like you want to tell production what you're thinking about, you know, how you feeling in the game, but like the threat of them actually releasing your plan on the person you trying to get out is actually so scary, and it's so poopy because it's like you do a lot of work to snow the person they're getting backdoor, and like is like just like that production can actually ruin all your plans. I mean, not necessarily ruin them, but take a lot of the sting and a lot of the, you know, the oomph to get them out, because if you stun somebody hard enough, they may not be able to recover in a back door. And if they have enough time to prepare, then they might stay. And that's like the worst case scenario for whoever's putting them on the block. So shame on production, shame on Bananas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this might be a weird take, but I do think that like playing production is part of Big Brother. Like I think that you have to understand that production is probably not on your side. And so I feel like you have to like use that against them. Because I was talking to Matt Hoffman. He kind of brought up production too, about how like production will ask kind of like pointed questions to be like, oh, like what do you think about Beth and Tina or something like that? And you'll be like, Beth and Tina, like why did you put those together? And you just kind of like make those connections in your head, where production does leak information all the time in diary rooms.
Yeah.
Which it's probably hard to do when you're trying to tell a story and you have to. And the person has to actually be talking about what you want them to talk about. So if they're just having these cockamamie like strategy talks in a diary room and it has no correlation to the storyline, then of course it's going to be bad. But like you said, I think it's just levels to how pointed the question is and how like, you know, alarm bells go off sometimes because it's easy to read production that way. So it's like the down ratio. Do you just not give them anything?
Yeah, or throw in a lot of red herring questions too, maybe to try to like mix it up.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. That's actually an amazing idea. Just throwing out the randomest questions. And then the house guests are more paranoid, better needs. They're like, oh my God, I heard that Jeff is coming back into the game. Anything can happen.
Period. Okay, so after Ro wins his like third veto at this point.
Yeah, third in a row. Spicy
V gets thrown up on the block. So the preparation of the throuple thinking about throwing her up, I think they had a lot of good points. I would say this was the fork in the road time from Ty and Jed and Beth, where Beth was basically, I need to get Vic out because she's not good for my game, and it does not matter if she's good for the boys' game. But I think the boys had a good thought process of Vic has done X, Y, and Z against us. We really want to trust her, but we can't. So she kind of got to go. I think they did it as, oh, she kind of got to do it. And Beth was just like, oh, she up out of here. So how do you think Ty and Jed is going to look at Beth going forward? Do you think they're still going to be super locked in, or do you think they're going to be like, we have to take her out, or, you know, we're going to be in that situation?
I don't think the boys have a real plan to get out Beth. I think that they are both banking on winning the competition, and probably, I mean, I'm guessing Jed would take Beth to the final two and Ty would take Jed to, no, actually, depending on how many competitions Jed wins at the end, Ty might change it up to Beth. I think Ty will personally choose whoever he thinks he can beat, whereas Jed will pick Beth and Beth will take Jed.
I think they both can beat Beth, though. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think the boys have great social games in the house.
Yeah. It's like Jed winning competitions that were not necessary to his game specifically makes it seem like he hasn't done as much as either Beth or Ty, because Ty's maintained all these relationships and he's known for being strategic, whereas Beth has actually like backdoored Vic, and like that leaves an impression on people. And she's been able to survive with 2 showmances, which is also pretty credible, even though she's annoying.
It's actually it's remarkable that, you know, the whole throuple is still there, but Beth, she is lethal in this situation because, like we're saying, like she actually might get taken by both of them. And if she's in the end with both of them, like she actually might have a chance to win because of her position. Like it's a lot that happens in the end game too. So it's a lot the jurors might not peek to. But Beth did a move early enough where she got out Vic as the first member of the jury. So it's not like Vic hasn't done anything. But I'm just very impressed with Ty and Jed not having any type of power and actually being the 2 biggest threats in the game and not winning the HOH, but never touching the block. That's what's really crazy to me. I mean, Beth is also in there too, but she hasn't had as big of a threat from the jump as they have. So this final 7 is, I don't know, it's very lopsided to me. Like, I think is the Sunsetters are obviously the heavy hitters, and then you have Brayden and Tara that's bringing up the rear that as really hasn't won anything, right? Neither of them has won a competition. So, and Tina. So I don't know. We'll see really how the rest of the house stacks up against the Sunsetters. But right now, I think they're in the prime position with the throuple being in the driver's seat.
Okay, so don't kill me, but who won the double? Like, who sent Ro home?
Kiefer.
Oh, who am mixed up?
Not Kyle, not Ro best friend. No, Kiefer. Kiefer won HOH, and then Ty won the veto.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought Kiefer was currently HOH. That's so crazy.
I believe Jed is the current HOH.
Yes, that's true.
That's what word on the street is. And apparently it was one of those elimination comps where you put the balls. And apparently Tara had a bit of a freak out, is what I've heard on the streets. Wow. Apparently, I think she was being quite targeted, and I heard she may have walked from the competition. I do not know if that's true, but
it's heating up.
I think Tara was not happy with the competition.
Oh, we can talk about
Tara. That's what I read on Twitter. I don't know.
My original winner pick.
You love Tara.
Listen, I don't know if it was I saw that she was gonna win the game, or I saw that she was gonna be at the end. She was a GOAT, but I just looked at her as somebody that people either needed to take out or was going to jeopardize their game. This is what I was saying earlier. I felt like Vic, and when she was invisible HOH, should have put up Beth and Tara on the block. And I just felt like that was a good position for her. Because if we go back and look at the landscape of that house, Austin and Brayden are still there. Ro will still be there. The throuple will still be there. Kiefer will be there, and Tina will be there. No matter what happens with Beth and Tara, Vic is not the biggest target going into that next week, basically. Like, it's so many more.
Perfectly in the middle, I think.
To be perfectly in the middle. And I think Beth, worst case scenario was Beth winning at HOH, because that was the person that Vic was more vocal about, like, taking out around that time. So results oriented thinking, but I still feel like Victoria should have really honed in on those two, because my whole thing was you got out LaToya because you wanted to be close to the guys. So I feel like you need to keep your foot on the gas and make sure you're close to the guys by getting out their showman and Beth. If you get out Beth, then who's the guys going to go to? Kiefer and Vic. So it's not like they had too many options after that point. So
they'd be forced to work with her, I think.
They'd be forced to. Period.
You can't hold grudges when you're at the bottom. You just can't.
I think you guys are overestimating the boys. Because like the way they kept bringing up how Vic threatened Jed to go up with LaToya, I think that like as soon as Vic is not literally in front of their face, they're ready for her to go home. So I truly think that even if Vic had survived this week, they were still going to target her again. And even before Tina and Tara. and that they think that Tina and Tara are more of their allies than Vic solely from the threat of one of them going up, because they haven't been threatened of being going up at all.
Mhm.
So it's like, even though Tara did say, like, I was thinking about your name, Jed, it's like no one really took Tara seriously, whereas everyone's taking like Victoria like literally.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
I
I think
mean-
the boys' social game, you said that we're overhyping them a bit, but I do think their social game has been so good that I don't know, I feel like a lot of the people have talked about putting them up, although now I'm thinking like of the people that have talked about putting them up who actually has won HOH.
Oh, I don't think you're overrating their social game. Their social game's like A1. Their strategic mindset is like totally emotional though.
It is.
Like,
It's bad.
I'll buy
Yeah.
that.
Like the fear of being thought of going on the block next to Toya has probably like super damaged that relationship
Oh,
to the point of where strategic reason doesn't matter.
Who was it like week 1 where like Jed could not get over being told? Oh, I think it was Ro. I think he was so gung-ho for Ro.
Yeah.
For Ro, because he knew Ro had slightly mentioned his name and he just like, just could not handle that.
Do y'all feel like Ro could have done, besides vetoes, do y'all think Ro could have done something different to make sure like he wasn't as big of a target? Because granted, he got out via Kiefer, who also got out Kyle. So like Kiefer most definitely had an agenda and he got it taken care of. But do you guys feel that Ro could have done something different, like put himself in a different position, or at this same time, like by doing something different?
I want to say 100%, but when I think about how they stayed like team versus team the first couple of weeks, I can say that he was an easy target. However, he could have overcome that by separating from Kyle a bit, doing like a divide and conquer, going to both sides of the house and playing the middle. He could have done that instead of trying to create a whole nother side from outsiders.
Yeah. I'm thinking about, because like he was quite confrontational with Kiefer, and so I don't think he was ever going to repair that relationship. But I think there is sometimes advantages to being confrontational, because like let's say I went HOH and I'm like, oh, I don't want to put Ro up when Ro and Kiefer are going at it. Like let them take care of each other. Like I don't need to deal with that. And so I think there was some bad luck, but also I don't know if Ro had that great of relationships with other people. It might have just been come down to week 1. Like why was he not the Sunsetters?
He could have made.
They stopped the whole flip for him. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. They stopped an entire flip from happening against Ro. So Ro had some kind of social capital early on, but I guess it was against Josh too. So that's that's only saying so much. No shade to Josh, but they all wrote Josh off at this point. But Ro had enough social capital to not get flipped on, and I don't know. I just feel like he like I personally wanted him to link up with the boys, but I think you guys said this before, it might have just been way too late. Like last week when we were talking, I think it was just way too late for him to actually get with the boys. But like you guys said, like he shouldn't have created an entire opposition. He should have just shut up. No, I'm not trying to tell you to shut up, bro, but he should have just shut his mouth, basically shut up and chill. Like I think he was perpetuating, even with like when Austin went up instead of Vic, like that whole week he was on Vic head. Like Vic never should have trusted him after that, and I think she did. And I think that was because she had only so many options to deal with, and then Ro didn't really correctly identify the certain people who only had certain options. So going back to the Austin and Brayden situation, not taking them off the block, not really fighting for his allies was probably his biggest problem.
I didn't realize you meant like what he should have done differently just this week. I thought you meant the entire game.
Oh, no. I mean, no, I agree with the entire game too. No, because he had a decent amount of time to position himself well, and he didn't. So I was just trying to see how you guys felt about his potential. And I like shout out to Veto King, but like, why'd you need to win so many vetoes?
Yeah. Oh, another thing he could have done is like, even if he did want to go to the other side, is pulled like Vic and Brayden, be like, we're underestimated. No one believes we'll win. Like, let's make a final 3 right here. And then go to Tina and Tara, say the same thing. Nobody thinks we'll win. We're so underestimated, and like really tried to pull those together. But he really was just like spreading his time thin and not like laying it on enough, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was gonna say too, sometimes I don't think Ro, I think I've talked about this before, like sees how fluid Big Brother is and how things can change, because I think he just sees things as they are. He's like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. But in reality, I think he should have been spending his time, like if he's at the bottom, that's not gonna change unless he's like planting seeds and like looking for the cracks. And without doing that, I think his place at the bottom was just kind of cemented. And so when the people got the HOHs, he's on the block.
Yeah, and he said he would be a villain, and I was really waiting for it, and then it never really happened.
I think his villain arc was coming when he was about to turn Beth on the boys, but I think it came a little too late because he got taken out. So I think that was a good plan. For some reason, him not being mad at Beth was the best thing he could ever did, because for some reason Beth like really trusted Ro, and I think Beth letting Ro go will be her downfall. Like, I don't know for sure, but if anything happens in this late game, the Ro vote, it shouldn't have happened like that. Like, I don't think, let me not put words in Brayden's mouth, I don't see Brayden fighting for Beth as much as Ro potentially will, because I think Ro might feel like he could beat anybody. So I feel like he wouldn't care about like keeping Beth, but I don't think Brayden is going to, stick his neck out for Beth that much, but we'll see.
Okay, so if we're thinking from the trio's point of view, like Beth, Jed, Ty, who do you guys think that they like each have remaining in the house? Like, does Ty have Brayden, and then Kiefer, and Tina? Does he have Tara? Like, or does Beth have Tara? Like, who do you guys think has the most people working for them individually?
Beth.
I think I tried to make a little pyramid scheme.
I could be wrong, but I think Jed and Tina have a decent relationship. Of the three, I think that Tina is closest to Jed, and I think Tina has Tara, so I might lean towards Jed just because of that, because Tara is in Tina's back pocket.
The thing is, I think Ty and Jed share Kiefer. I think Ty has Brayden. I think Jed, like you said, might have Tina, but I think Tina is too blinded about the guys being big threats, where I think Jed may not necessarily have anybody in his back pocket technically besides Beth. But if I would say anybody's more linked up, that's actually a good question. I would say Beth tentatively, really not knowing the landscape, because I just don't know how close Tina is with Beth. I don't know how close Terry is with Beth. And I don't really know how much Kiefer really likes Beth as well. But I think Beth also has a slight relationship with Brayden. So I think slightly Beth is more connected, but strong wise, Ty might be good because he has Bray and Kiefer and Jed, basically.
Yeah. I think that people do see the boys as just like one player, though, in a way, because I think even when they were trying to figure out like who got the HOH this week, I'm pretty sure Tara said to Ty, like, oh, this was a good one for you to win, almost as if he won it, And so like the feeders were kind of confused. They're like, did Jed win? Did Ty win? But Brayden said no, Jed won. So I'm pretty sure Jed won.
Tara being a little racist.
Ooh.
No, never.
Like, you're the other black one, right?
Period. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, I'm so happy they won. I know people are like, oh my God, boring season. Da, 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 da. But like, that's on the players. Like, the players have literally saw Ty and Jed as the biggest targets, and none of them have tried to take them out. Neither of them before this time have won HOH. And before this, not even the throuple. It was literally just Kiefer and Vic in Austin. So it's just like, with Kiefer, he was never going to turn on them. Vic act like she was never going to turn on them, but I think she was ready to plot. And Austin, she missed her chance when, she wasted her HOH on Josh. So it hasn't really been a lot of chances for them to go up, but it's so respectable that they've been the biggest target and they have not went up on the block. That is, no matter what, like, that's so amenable to me.
Yeah. What are we at? Final 7 or 6?
Yeah, final 7. Yes.
7. So and now they're HOHs, so they're gonna be in the final 6 together.
Just-
Like that's ridiculous. They have a 50% chance of winning every HOH now.
And Vito.
And Vito, and they're just gosh, this house, they fucked up. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
They
You
fucked up.
literally picked the worst time to try to go after the boys because it's like you put 2 of them up. The third one's Vito. Boom. It's like
Yeah, total control.
it all depends on like Kiefer and Brayden at this point.
Yeah, but even if you get to a point where if someone wins Veto and comes off the block and they're forced to put the other one up, they have the votes. Am I wrong?
They do.
Yeah, because HOH can't vote.
At 5, 2, 2, so then they'll have the votes. Like,
Yeah.
The tie.
Well, then I guess the tie.
Yeah, but for HOH. Oh,
no, it's more so looking at getting them to invite. At this point, y'all done messed up so much and y'all done kept them around too long where you have to convince them to start fighting and cannibalizing each other, because if you don't, like they hold too much power. Like you have to start saying, Ty, you got to take out Beth. Jed, you got to take out Ty. Beth, you got to take one of them out. Like you have to get into their head because they locked in at this point and there's no reason for them to turn on each other. I'm sorry. There's really no reason. Like you might get a bitter jury vote with Kiefer if you get him out too early, but if they leave him up to the final 4 and end up taking him out, how can he be mad? How can you be mad at that? Like it would be his fault.
Kiefer's basically playing for 4th place in his mind if he doesn't take one of them out.
Yes.
And that's thinking that they're going to save him for the 4th because they're not even talking about doing that, or they weren't before.
And they should take Kiefer out. Kiefer is a huge threat to win.
Yeah.
Mm.
So did you not watch the did you not fully watch the Double Cheyenne?
No.
Okay, no. I'm just mention this. At one point I wish I had the clip after Kiefer had put Brayden and Ro on the block. He was really looking so sad. Like I'm just like, why is Kiefer in the house just looking like he want to cry? Like, bro, you're making a big move. Maybe because he probably felt like it wasn't a big move of him doing that, but like he was looking there so sad. I'm like, Kiefer, perk up, bro. Have some like confidence, bro. Like, cause like at this point, if he's doing all of these moves, and I feel like they're not gonna respect it if he's sitting next. If I don't know, I can't talk for the jury, but it seems to me if he's sitting there at the end with the throuple, and he might get there. It's kind of like we can respect you because you got here, but it's kind of like you literally hoisted these people up to at least be in a spot next to you. Some big threats that you should not want to sit next to. Like Kiefer should want to sit next to Tara. Take Tara to the end with you.
Yeah, like if anyone from jury asks Keith, like, who did you get out? Like, what moves did you make that helped your game and no one else's? Then like he's gonna sit there looking very dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked about Brayden a lot. How do y'all feel about Brayden's potential position?
Ro and Vic at least had Brayden as their number 2 for who they'd want to win, which I thought was interesting. Because personally, I think it's hard because I love a good social game, but also he has to win a comp eventually because I don't really think it's fair to win if you never had to get blood on your hands. Like, so I just really hope he can pull out a comp win, and then I think he does have a chance to win, depending. You know.
Yeah, I can almost see him getting the Paris win, where he starts winning and then he goes to the end with someone who, with even a Kiefer, he could out-talk Kiefer and win it all just for social ability. Say I was at the bottom, I struggled, I won when I needed to. Like Brayden has a lot of potential if him, Tina, or Tara start winning.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, I feel like Brayden has a good chance to get to the end. I want Brayden to win, most definitely, but I'm not too sold on his like potential to win. Depending on how much the Sunsetters actually respect other Sunsetters, because if they really feel respect for each other and that they got to the end with each other, if one of them is there, they control the jury vote. Like it's nothing but Sunsetters in the jury except for Latoya. So if it's one of a sunsetter and one non-sunsetter, the sunsetter has 4 votes. So it's important to look at it in that like perspective, because Brayden hasn't won anything versus Kiefer winning a lot of stuff. Let's say it's Brayden and Kiefer.
Mm-hmm.
Why should Brayden win over Kiefer when he hasn't had no blood on his hands and Kiefer has protected his entire alliance except for when him and LaToya both were on the block and he used HOHs to get the rest of the side of the house out? I feel like that's a strong argument against somebody who played socially and didn't really do as much. But we will see, I guess, how they're able to, talk to the jury. But I wholeheartedly feel like a sunsetter will win if they're up against somebody that's a non-sunsetter, because they basically have all the votes.
I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of another season like Big Brother 15 with the Andy game of it all, where it's like someone in the Sunsetters is going to be betrayed. So it's like if you have no blood on your hands, then everyone can kind of vote for you with a cleaner conscience. It's almost like the deeper the relationship, the harder the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Feels.
How many are in jury again? Is it 7 or 9? 7?
Yeah.
Gosh. So if only one of the throuple makes it, they have 2 automatic votes. Woof, that's so scary.
Yes, like
it's like they'll vote for each other. I think they should vote for each other. Just
because they played the game together. You might as well. Your win is my win, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let any of them get to the end. I feel like
but someone's going to.
Oh, one of them
is so going to happen.
They gotta cut Keith. Yeah.
With the other half of the house literally not winning any competitions, and then Kiefer in the middle and in the throuple, is like, what is going to happen here?
Yeah.
Like, the people who needs to be winning is not winning, and that's the problem. That's like, you can't rely on, I guess, social relationships to the point where we talking about Brayden. If you don't win anything, Brayden might not even make it to the end if he doesn't win. So it's like he may not even have a chance to state his case because of how the lookout of it is. Ty, Jed, and Beth are in the perfect position. And like, how do y'all let a throuple, like not even just a showman's, like a 3 stack of people, basically, let's go back to Kelly Wentworth, Lauren, and War Dog in season 38 of Edge of Extinction, and they were all linked up, and for a while they were not getting targeted either. So it's kind of like, what's so scary about going against a block of people? Like, you have to take the shot at one point. You actually have to do something. If you want to win a game, make a move. I'm sorry. Like, stop playing so skittish. Like, there's no reason to.
The problem is people thinking that they're the ones who will split it up. Like Kiefer thinking that he could get to the end with one of the boys. It's like Brayden thinking he could get to the end with one of the boys. It's like everyone thinks that they could be a replacement, not realizing that like they're obviously so much stronger than that.
Mm-hmm.
And on that same note, I realized that like Big Brother, like Canada doesn't respect being ruthless as much as we do.
Yeah,
so if one of the throuple did cut off one of the others before necessary, then they're really like not going to get votes from it. From the same season with Paris and Kayla, it's just not respected as a big move, even though we see it as one.
Yeah,
but that's it. In that same situation, Kayla, Cut, and Derek would have. I don't know if Paris wins. Like, do you think Paris loses if Kayla had the choice to cut Derek?
Or didn't she cut Derek?
No, Paris ended up cutting Derek.
Oh.
Yes. So Kayla didn't have the choice to do it. And I think she basically sucked all energy from Kayla. If Kayla did want to cut Derek, no matter what, she didn't do it. So it made Paris' case stronger. So I feel like cutting whoever you're directly aligned with, if you cannot beat them, is the strongest move you can make at the end of the game. But a lot of people, like the Thruple's not doing that. There's no way they're doing that.
No, and I was gonna say, I think another one of their greatest strengths is I heard, you should always, your ideal partner to go to the end is someone where you both think you can beat the other. And I think they all have big enough egos that I'm pretty sure all of them think they win out of the 3 of them. And so I think, why would they not take each other? Like, why not live by that loyalty if you think you can win regardless? And then your friend gets money too.
And they're all equally matched up.
Yeah.
Like,
Very
Beth
different game.
HOH, Jed 2 vetoes, and then Ty 1 veto. Oh no, Jed 1 veto, 1 HOH, and then Ty 1 veto. Like they're literally across the board very even. So I would feel comfortable going to the end with people I've played the entire game with and also have a similar resume to.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Because I think it is scarier to take someone that's not in your throuple, because maybe I should stop calling them the throuple. Because then I'm thinking about like Brayden. Let's say like the Tina and Tara. Are the Tina and Tara going to vote for someone in the trio regardless? Or do you think Tina and Tara? Well, I think Kiefer wins against a lot of people. I really do. I think that Kiefer would get a lot of people's votes. But Brayden, I think, do you think that Tina and Tara would vote for Brayden?
Yes.
Because Ro and Vic
too,
have already said they're voting for Brayden besides Kiefer. He is the number 2. And so at that point,
I don't think Tina and Tara vote for Brayden against Kiefer. But
against people in the trio.
Yes. And the only reason I say that is because I think they actively know that they need to get that trio out. So like
I mean in the finals.
No.
Okay.
I know I got you. Like I'm saying, like let's say Tina and Tara does not make the finals, obviously, and it's like Brayden and insert ex-member of the throuple. Yeah. I believe that they might vote for Brayden over the throuple because they felt like they wanted to actually get the throuple out, and they had chances to actually work with Brayden to try to get the throuple out. It just never fell into their lap because of lack of HOHs. But I also don't really know where Tina and Tara's head is at, besides they have to turn on the throuple, besides of them being against the Sunsetters. Like that's the only stance they have. Like it's hard because Tina, she doesn't give. Like Tina actually, I don't say she irritates me in the game, but like she's just there. Like she does little things. Like, you know, you can only do so much little things until you actually have to make a big move. And I think Tina took too long to actually make the big move. So now like she should have been in Kiefer ear, like Ro can't go. Or just something like at that double. If you felt comfortable, you've been linked up with Kiefer, you have to convince Kiefer to take a shot. Like that was in everybody's worst interest but the throuple, for the throuple to be off the block. I know Kiefer wanted to save them, but it wasn't even in Kiefer's best interest to keep them off the block. Like one of them had to go home. And the fact that they didn't, I feel like they made the throuple super strong, because now the throuple is in the final 6 and they have half the votes, no matter what, basically. Like this is crazy. I
kind of really want to see a Brayden Kiefer final 2 now, and like knowing that there's almost a 0 chance of that happening really sucks right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess my point of all that is I think that the throuple not only emotionally will want to take each other, but I think strategically, I think it makes sense too. I do. Mm-hmm. Like I think their best chance at winning is against each other, honestly. Maybe Brayden, but and I forgot about Tina and Tara. I just don't think Tina and Tara can get there. I don't know.
I don't think they're winning against anyone. Like Tina's winning against Tara, but I don't think they're winning against anyone else.
Yeah, I just don't see their path. I feel like a lot of people are going to put them up together. I just don't see their path.
Yeah, it's bad. Like I feel like Tina played the game very passive and let Tara put them in a crazy spot. Like if you're going to be linked up with a partner, I'm keeping if you're going to be linked up with me, you're going to be on a leash. Like I'm not about to have you wilding, you know, I won't say exposing yourself, exposing us, because everything that Tara gets exposed for, Tina is also getting exposed for by proxy. So you have to really watch who you're aligned with, and not saying babysit them, but like if they're making illegitimate like decisions for themselves, that might backfire on you. And if you care about your game enough, you got to be able to nip that in the butt. And I feel like Tara is so like loose at the mouth, where like, oh, I was going to, you know, put you up as a pawn, Jed. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. And it's kind of like, okay, Tara, that's cool for you. But if I'm Tina, I'm looking at you crazy because we're TNT and we're probably going to go on the block together. So like, what are you doing? And if they were smart, they would take out Tina instead of Tara. So it's like Tara is putting Tina in a very peculiar position where if they go on a block against each other, Tina is actually the person they need to take out because Tara won't shut up. Like Tara won't. She's not able to like not throw herself under the bus. So why not keep that person in the game?
Yeah.
Man.
And I'm just thinking about Tina again because I think you talked about it earlier about how Tina just wasn't active enough when her allies were on the block and she just let allies go home. And I think that's why my vision of Tina shifted so much because I think in the beginning she had such an active role in the strategy talk and in the decisions that were being made. But as her allies started going, I just feel like now I think you're right. I think she is just kind of there. And I don't think she has as much of an active voice that people listen to anymore.
She had one, but now that they don't have no numbers, there's no way she can because they don't have any numbers and they're not winning. Like it's like a combination of many things.
Mm-hmm. But she has Tara. Maybe Tara will pull something out. Do we know who do we think? Do we know who Jed will put up? He'll probably put up TNT, right?
TNT,
probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's his best bet or not.
I think those are his biggest threats at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm okay with. That's not crazy.
No, I'm okay with that too. And I don't say I wasn't okay with that before, but like I just wanted, I guess, something to happen. If I could have chose anybody to go home a couple weeks ago, no shade to Beth, but it would have been Beth because it would have minimized the threats of the boys. Vic probably would still be in the house, and it would just be a whole different ball game because Beth wouldn't be there. And I think with one of the throuple not there, I think it would have opened up the game for a lot of people because the throuple wouldn't have as much control. And one of the boys could have went too for this to be shaken up a little bit. But like without a Beth in the house, I think the game is a little bit different and it's like a little more fluid. But I don't know. It was just bad. Like these HOH has been shaking out how they shook out. Like I can't super complain because I did like most of the people in the Sunsetters, if not the entire Sunsetters. So like it's cool. I guess they made it this far, but the crazy thing is they haven't even made it this far being loyal to each other. They made it that far basically off getting into alliance with each other and then the right people winning HOH.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, we skipped the house meeting. Do we want to talk about the house meeting?
Yes, we should talk about the house meeting.
Victoria and Tara going at it. Did you love it? Did you love Tara having a voice?
Not for this.
I think Tara got a lot of hate online for it. Well, not hate. I think people just supported Vic and just Vic.
I supported Vic too because don't come on the show complaining about if you're first member of jury, you're gonna be bitter. Like we're all gonna be bitter first member of jury. Like nobody wants to lose. Like Tara, like you should have quit a week ago if you was scared of being first jury, if that makes sense. Like the meeting needed to happen, and that was the best thing that Beth ever did was put Vic on the block because Vic exposed so much about everybody else's games. And I feel like besides Vic going home, Beth had the strongest HOH because the most information came out from that meeting.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it helped her game at all, or it's just too late at that point?
Beth's?
Yeah. Or no, Victoria's.
No, it was too late. But because of Ro,
I think she just dragged people down with her. I don't know how much it accomplished.
She dragged people down with her. And I
Did
think
she initiate it? Who initiated the house meeting?
Victoria, I think.
Oh, she did initiate it?
Yeah. I think the throuple wanted her to do the house meeting too. They wanted her to air all like whatever grievances out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jed had to encourage that meeting.
Jed most definitely loved his house meetings. Listen, this season has been an anomaly. Like this is like the third house meeting, right? Or something like that. I've never seen a house have this many house meetings, and I've never seen the people leading the house meetings not go home. I'm not gonna hold you up. The people who always called the house meetings usually go home. And Jed called the first one and still in that house. So that's actually very crazy. It's a lot. How did you feel about the house meeting, Sarah?
Oh, I thought it was fun. I just love a good fight. That's like Victoria. Victoria was not afraid to fight with people, and I love Big Brother fights. I don't know if they do, but it gives me joy and happiness.
I get so cringed out. Like I enjoy drama, but I don't enjoy I like Victoria when she's being sneaky. I don't like when she's trying to be manipulative or serious. Like it was so hard watching her pitch to the four because I was just like, wow, she's crying and she's saying a lot of things, but half of these are lies, and it's getting to the point where she believes them, and it just makes me so uncomfortable. And I'm like, I'm not enjoying this experience. So yeah, I didn't watch much of what was going on this week just because I get too much secondhand embarrassment.
I mean,
I thought she came across strong though. I did.
She came across really strong. Most definitely against Tara. Because Vic had a lot of good points, and they were all lying. Vic had basically told the other half of the house what was really going on. And then during that meeting, Tara and Ro were basically, I won't say they were lying off rip, but they were basically not telling the full story that Vic was telling. And since Vic had exposed them, that actually put Ro in a crazy position because they was Ro lied the entire time. It was Ro should have just told the truth because Vic was going home, so she had nothing to lose. Ro was standing in that house. So you trying to save face with these people that's about to target you is crazy. And I don't know, I'm not a super big fan of house meetings because they can get, kind of group mindset, group think, and I'm not a group think type of person. I do not like it. I hate it. I hate her mentality. It makes me so annoyed. But I know how easy it is for that to happen when you are in a group of people. I think that meeting was strictly for the throuple to get information, and Vic fell into it. Ro, Tara fell into it. Tina fell into it because they found out Tina been working against them as well. So it's just all the little things that everybody was working on up until that point to hide from the throuple got exposed in the house meeting. So it was good. It was really good for Beth, basically, in the throuple because they were able to get so much information that they didn't have before. But we are not pro house meetings, I guess. We're pro getting information out. People need to start leaking information all the time. So people, well, not all the time because then people won't trust you, but leaking information that's important as you need to. And I think that's how Brayden has been operating. And I think that's how Brayden is in the position he's in because he's able to leak specific information at specific times.
Wow. Do you guys have anything else to bring up for this week? I kind of checked out, but I'll be back.
LOL. No, feels. I mean, this is a lot of chaos happening. All I want to say is, Vic, you should have put up Beth and Tara, and you probably would still be in his house. Period.
Fool.
No, I agree. Well, this is my Twitter down here, Sarah Yell 06.
Same. This is also my Twitter, Ganjo Dadank 2. Shout out to y'all. Come follow.
Yep. And this is my YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can catch me at Cheyenne New. Actually, if you go on my YouTube tonight, I would probably upload a new episode of my own podcast, The Unorthodox Panel. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. If you don't, go ahead.
I vote you drop it no matter what. Drop it tonight.
Oh, I'm just trying to edit it after this.
It feels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you guys for coming to watch us. We love you.
Yeah. I think Sarah's dying. So bye.
Have a good night, you guys.